Right, so hello everyone, it's the Cricket Connoisseur here and welcome to episode 3 of the TCC Talks podcast. Today I'm joined by the talented Toby Marriott to talk a bit about social media, talk about his early memories of cricket, and then wrap it all up with a discussion about England and how we can improve in the future. So first things first, how's your day been so far, Toby? Are you doing well, mate?
Hey, yeah, thank you very much for having me on. Yeah, I'm doing very well, thank you. I'm down in Eastbourne in East Sussex. Beautiful sunny day. Got two Labradors, so I was out on a run this morning over across the Downs. Was saying to my parents this morning, there actually aren't that many places you'd rather be, really. It's a beautiful sunny day. We're trying to keep ourselves busy, keep ourselves positive in this strange old time. And yeah, Cricket District is part of those ways I'm coping, really, trying to post some fun videos on there, keep people entertained. Enjoying the sunshine as well.
Yeah, I mean, not a bad place to be spending your quarantine. Yeah, we're not quite coastal in Warwick, but yeah, still a lovely day today. We'll be going up later. So let's start this off, Toby, by rewinding all the way to the start, really. What was your first ever memory of cricket, either watching it or playing it?
First memory of cricket will be at the end of a village cricket match that my dad had been playing in. I must have been 5-6 years old. The match ended. He brought me out onto the square, padded me up in all of his kit, which was obviously far too big, put a big men's adult helmet. Yep. And I tried to hit a few balls on the square, basically, against my dad bowling and a couple of the other village cricketers on the square. And that was kind of my first experience of it, really. So, yeah, I've played cricket for as long as I can pick up a bat, really. Loved it. Always been a village cricketer, always been a keen village cricketer. I grew up in Kent, just outside of Canterbury, and played at a little club called Eastry, which exclusively played friendly cricket on a Saturday and Sunday. And we lived 100 metres down the road, so it was perfect. Beautiful village cricket grounds. We then moved to Sussex. My parents got jobs in Eastbourne. Moved here, and again, I joined a village cricket team very similar to Eastry, called Selmerston, who play in Division 10 of the East Sussex League.
10.
And I run the team. So I used to play, I played a bit of second 11 cricket at Eastbourne Town. Played first team at school, but got a bit bored of the pressure that higher standard of cricket can bring. And actually, I just wanted to enjoy my weekends while still playing the game I loved. So yeah, I started captaining a village cricket team. Well, basically, it actually started out by a few friends of mine were sat in a pub. And we'd started a Sunday village team called the Longmen of Sussex, because there's this, if you go to a place called Willingdon in Sussex, there's a big chalk drawing of a very tall man. And no one actually, I think it's from the Vikings or something like that. Anyway, we decided to call ourselves the Longmen, and this was whilst we were playing at school. And of course, whilst we were at school, we were able to use the school pitches to play our games, Sunday friendlies, that kind of thing. And we were sat in the pub near Selmerston, and we were talking about, oh, guys, we're not going to have anywhere to play when we all leave school this year. Where are we going to be able to, we want to keep playing Sunday village cricket. And the pub landlord overheard me speaking and said, guys, my Saturday team, we're really struggling down at Selmerston. We can't get any players. We might fold. How about you use our pitch on Sunday and in return play for us on a Saturday? And fast forward 5 years, I now captain the Saturday team. My dad runs the Sunday team. And the village club is still going because we're involved and we're bringing people into it and playing fun cricket. So, yeah, village cricket is in the blood, really.
That's a great story. I mean, that's a fantastic thing to do, save a club pretty much from the brink, really. It's good to hear that it's still going. So, Toby, you mentioned about the oversized equipment. Do you remember what your first ever cricket bat was?
Funny enough, my first ever cricket bat was made by a guy called Giles Brealey, who lived in Kent, and made a bat called Bullfrog. And what he would do, he had a load of willow trees in his garden, and my dad knew him through village cricket, and he made his own bats. So I had a Bullfrog bat, and he would do little paintings on the back of each bat to personalise each one. And mine was a spitting cobra. So, of course, I rocked up to schoolboy cricket aged 11, 12, and everyone's got a woodworm or a grey Nichols, and I've got this ridiculous bat with a cobra on it. So I stood out from the crowd a bit. But yeah, that was my first bat. I do remember always wanting to look like Ian Bell. Yeah. I remember always wanting to get like a Missouri helmet, even though they didn't make junior ones. So I'd always walk, everyone would have I think like Gray Nichols and Kookaburra made kids helmets, and I think at the time Missouri didn't make them. So, but I was determined to look like Ian Bell, so I would wear a big adult Missouri helmet, which probably weighed me down a bit. So I'll use that as an excuse for not scoring many runs at school for sure.
Well, I mean, not a bad idol to have, really, Ian Bell, obviously from my neck of the woods, Warwickshire. Yeah. And that kind of moves me on to the next question, really, Toby. Who were your real influences growing up in cricket? Who did you look at and think, right, I kind of aspire to be like that?
Yeah, I mean, Bell definitely. So 2005 Ashes, I was 10 years old, and that was the first cricket I watched on TV, and just watched every single day of it. And I think most of my generation, it's amazing, have been inspired to play the game through one series alone. So I think Ian Bell in that series, he had a really poor series, but he was just coming through as a youngster, and I really enjoyed watching him bat. So Bell, I always wanted to play the flick through mid wicket like Kevin Peterson.
Oh, nice.
Failed pretty much every time. And my dad, I remember going to had trials at Sussex, and we were playing for the Eastern Eagles, which was like East Sussex district. And I got a few runs, but I would always get myself out trying to flick through mid-wicket. My dad would just tear his hair out saying, play straight, play straight. And I'd come off and say, but Kevin Peterson plays it, so why can't I? So KP, I think, in terms of the batting. And then, funnily enough, bowling, it's Darren Stevens. Because I grew up at Kent, and Darren Stevens has been there for as long as I've been a cricket fan. And I still, to this day, bowl little medium pace diddly dobblers that seem to get people out. So yeah, those kind of three, I guess. I love watching Shane Warne bowl 05 Ashes again, just absolutely incredible talent. Those kind of guys were my heroes. And then, I still consider De Villiers to be the best player of all time. In terms of like raw talent, I just find him incredible, absolutely incredible. His fielding in particular as well, just next level. So yeah, those are a few.
100%. Good choices there. Very nice choices. I certainly agree with two of them, Ian Bell and De Villiers. Massive in my experiences growing up as a cricket fan, especially Belly, watching him down Edgbaston for Warwickshire, winning us trophies. I
think he's the only active player from that 2005 series. He's the only one still playing.
Oh yeah, you're right. I think he is. Yeah, Trez is retired now, hasn't he? Retired last season.
From either team. So hopefully Bell gets another season. Obviously, with no cricket this summer, or for the foreseeable anyway. Hopefully, we'll get to see him out there again.
I think he will. What's he now? 36, 37.
Keep playing.
Yeah, he'll still play. He'll have a massive reception at Edgbaston as well for final game, hopefully. Right. So moving on from kind of the really early days now, Toby. What was your first ever moment of being an England fan and thinking, wow, okay, this was an incredible performance? What's your favourite ever early England cricketing performance in terms of individual or team?
Favourite early one. I remember watching Kevin Peterson smash like 100 and I remember watching it on TV. I think it was against Sri Lanka. It might have been at Gaul or at Kandy.
I think it was Colombo, the 150 odd.
Yeah. So I remember watching that, and then 10-11 Ashes. I remember staying up and watching that, and that was amazing. So that was when I first thought. I want to go watch England play in Australia, and that was when I first considered doing the Barmy Army stuff. So that 10-11 Ashes would have to be it. That was probably the most inspiring moment for me to do what I do now.
Great choice. Obviously that's iconic, isn't it? The 10-11 Ashes. Guessing you've watched the Edge charts that absolutely brilliantly. What a tournament! What a series. So actually, that kind of brings me on nicely to the next thing now, Toby, because obviously you are an integral part of the Barmy Army now. How did you first get into that in terms of social media aspect, in terms of going on tours and stuff? How did you actually force your way in, per se?
Yeah, no, force your way in is a good way of describing it. So when I was at first year at university, I went to Bristol, and just before I arrived at Bristol, I did some serious damage to my Achilles tendon, and I went from playing loads of sport at school, that summer. I played cricket probably 3 or 4 times a week the summer before I went to university, And it was kind of my whole identity. So I played loads of cricket, loads of hockey, did loads of cross-country running, excuse me, and then went to university and had absolutely nothing to do. So in my first year, I set up a Facebook page, which is now Cricket District, and started posting fun little videos on there and sharing little bits of content. And Chris Millard, who's managing director of the Barmy Army now, he messaged Cricket District and said, hey, love what you do. Could you share some Barmy Army content on your page? We've got the Ashes coming up, 2017-18 Ashes series coming up. Would you like to share some content? And speaking candidly, I'm sure he won't mind me saying this, but I had a look at the videos that were on the Barmy Army page, and they weren't particularly high quality or entertaining. You can probably imagine they looked like they were filmed on a potato, all in the wrong way, terrible live streams, that kind of thing. And I said, look, I'll be honest, I'm not going to share this content because I really like sharing high quality stuff on my page. But what I'd love to do is come out to Australia and run your social media for you because you're a massive brand. Everyone knows who the Barmy Army are, particularly during Ashes time. Let me run your social media for you. And Chris was like, yeah, that sounds good, but the Ashes is in less than a month. If you can get yourself out here, then maybe we can have a conversation. I was like, okay, that sounds like if I can get myself to Brisbane, I might be able to run the Barmy Army social media. So at the time I was freelancing at ESPN and the ICC. So this is after I left university. And Chris said, yeah, if you can come out here, let's see what you can do. So I was on Eastbourne Beach, walking my dogs, and an old umpire friend of mine, I used to umpire my junior cricket, said, hey, Toby, how you doing? I'm guessing you must be going out to the Ashes. I was like, oh, no, I can't really afford it. I can't get tickets. And he said, well, my son, he's a pilot. He was due to be coming out to Brisbane and Adelaide, but his schedule's been changed. Do you want his tickets to the first two tests? And I was like, yeah, that sounds good. Thanks very much. I've still got to sort my flights and accommodation things, but yeah, if I get out there, I'll let you know. Great. So the following Saturday, I'm then playing village cricket. And Matthew Jackson, who runs a sports tours company that I now do a bit of work for, he turned to me and said, we've actually got a couple of school teams going out to Dubai the week before the first Ashes. Do you want to do a week's work for us hosting them? And in return, we'll sort your flights to Brisbane. And I was like, yeah, sounds good. So within the space of a week, I had flights and tickets to the first two tests. I got myself to Brisbane and said, hey, Chris, I'm that guy you messaged on Facebook. And he said, great. Here's our Twitter, here's our Facebook. Can you set up an Instagram page for us? And fast forward 3-4 years now, I'm now the Barmy Army's media manager.
That is absolutely incredible. I mean, a lot of luck involved with that as well. I mean, you got extremely lucky with the tickets, with obviously the experience in Dubai. That is incredible, Toby. That really is. And you've absolutely smashed it, to be honest, with both Cricket District. I mean, just to give everyone listening to this the numbers, 165,000 likes on Facebook, 56,000 followers on Instagram, and 9,000 followers on Twitter. It's ridiculous. It's one of the biggest social media platforms in terms of cricket. I mean, how proud of Cricket District are you, Toby? Because it's an immense achievement. It really is.
Oh, I really appreciate that. Thank you. It's funny because I've built it up from scratch, and I'm often the only one talking about it or posting things on it. It takes someone to say that, to be like, oh yeah, actually it's massive. Because you don't really, you just think, oh, I'm just, and I think because I enjoy it so much, I kind of just don't really realize the audience. So I'll get sent a great video, and normally what people do is when they get sent a funny video or a great sports video, what they'll do is they'll share it on their WhatsApp group with their mates. And that's kind of what I consider Cricket District to be. It's like, would I share this with my mates? Would I want to see it? Yeah, I'll post it on there. So that's what it's always been, really. And I think people really connected with that. I think particularly in cricket, there's a lot of online content, a lot of articles, a lot of deep dive analysis, that kind of thing. Nothing wrong with that. Cricinfo, BBC, Wisden, The Cricketer, they all do it very well. But no one's really doing social first. Cool, nice graphics, nice short videos, kind of being the home of cricket culture, which is what I've kind of called it. So, I'm really proud of it. There's actually, I kind of see it right now as the start of the Cricket District journey, because I've got some big plans for it. And actually, this time obviously it's been difficult for a lot of people and it's really tough, but it's actually allowed me to really focus on what I enjoy, which is producing video content. So I've built myself a little studio and just going to start pumping out some YouTube videos and that kind of thing, because I think it's great having a massive following on Facebook and Instagram and stuff, but I really want to start producing our own video content. We're actually launching our own Cricket District team, partnering with New Balance, who are going to create all of the kit. Going to be live streamed on YouTube and Facebook and that kind of thing. So that's an exclusive. So yeah, there's some really cool stuff happening, and I'm super proud of the journey that it's been on so far.
You should be. I mean, that's going to be amazing. That's going to be good. Having a Cricket District team, 100%. I'm looking forward to that. So,
if you ever have fixtures in Warwickshire, you're more than welcome to play.
Yeah, I'll make the trip down. I don't mind. Name a time and a place. I'll be there. Right. So, Toby, obviously, we've now talked about pretty much Cricket District where it's at now. Let's just rewind it slightly to where it was beforehand. You're talking about in university. What tips and advice would you give to any young cricket content creators in terms of what they can expect from their journey, how they can maybe grow it a bit more, and maybe some advice as to how to get over maybe when it isn't growing so much? What advice would you give to them?
Obviously, first things first, just start. I know that sounds so simple, but it's so easy to have ideas and have lots of things written down in a notebook. So just start putting things out there. It's not actually that hard to get noticed on social media, because you can tag people, it's free, you can throw things out there, build your own platform. Don't be a perfectionist. So put out content, put out your work. Don't sit on things and just think, oh, I'll do that tomorrow or I'll do that next week. Just get it started. So yeah, just start and don't be a perfectionist would be that my kind of thinking for when you first start. Obviously, I think when I first started Cricket District, I was like, right, I want to be where ESPN, Bleacher Report, Copper 90, I want to be where Copper 90, I want to be where they are right now, and actually take a step back and be like, right, where did they start? Oh, they started making videos, in their basement, in their garage, that's kind of, do you know what I mean? That's kind of thing. Yeah. Just start and don't be a perfectionist. Then I'd say, I think I mentioned it earlier, post content that you would want to see as a fan. So that's the way Cricket District has grown, really. I've posted videos and shared photos and stuff that I would want to see on my feed. I think the minute you start posting things, you're like, that might go down well in India, but I don't really want to see that as a fan. Do you know what I mean? Or something like that. You're going to compromise your character and your audience, basically. And don't be afraid to reach out as well. Like you reached out to me and said, could we do a podcast? I was like, yeah, absolutely, I'm up for it. Or can we do an Instagram live? People are really keen. Most people are really keen to collaborate on stuff. All it takes is just dropping them a line, dropping them a message, showing your support for other creators as well, and asking for advice. So drop a comment in an Instagram piece, be like, oh, that's really cool. How did you edit that? Or I'd love to be able to share this on my page. Can I do that? Do you know what I mean? So just collaboration is key, definitely. And then I guess last bit would be all it takes is one piece of content. Yep. So for me, it was probably the biggest thing on Cricket District has been a montage of the funniest village cricket videos, where I just put together a load of fun village cricket videos, said these are the best videos of the decade, and it's got something like 6.5 million views. So that kind of, all it takes is one bit of content to catapult you from, it could be 100 followers to 1,000. So sorry, that was kind of a lots of various different things, but I hope that would help anyone watching this who wants to get involved and reach out to me as well. Like I'm very fortunate to be in a position where I run Cricket District and I run the Barmy Armies pages, two of the biggest social accounts in cricket, and more than happy to give people advice on how to grow their following. So yeah, that's kind of, and yeah, I mean, like other creators' content, collaborate, and just start, basically.
Well, no, I think that's great advice, Toby. You've gone into a lot of depth there. Obviously, that's going to be very helpful to any young cricket creators out there. I mean, what you said about just dropping a line to people, I mean, I've actually found that now. Obviously, with the podcast series, this is now getting up and running. On Monday, got quite a special guest. I'm not going to reveal exactly who it is, but he has played for England before, and all that took was a message. I mean, yeah, it's incredible. Social media can be an incredible tool. But then on the flip side, Toby, have you ever struggled with social media? Have there ever been any times where you've maybe had some negative comments? People have said, oh, you should just quit or stop making content. How have you got over the tough times as well?
Good point, actually. I was very afraid to start presenting. So my first bit of presenting content was I did a balmy vlog from the first test in Sri Lanka. And it was an idea that I've always wanted to do. And I basically didn't tell anyone I was going to do it. I just shot it all. I did all of the Barmy Army social media, and I did the day-to-day, and I did the fun tweets and the little Instagram stories. But I had my drone out and I took some fun videos, and I was like, you know what, I'm just going to put something really smart together and just send it out and see what happens. And there wasn't, I think there was one negative comment, but apart from that, it was all positive. And I got a lot of messages from my family and friends saying, this is great, keep doing more of it. And the one negative comment was like, I think it was, oh, this is just some posh kid whose daddy paid for him to go on a cricket tour. Do you know what I mean? Something like that. And then there have been times on tour when there are some people who are quite negative towards the Barmy Army, like a very small minority, but people who don't understand that the Barmy Army is a business and it needs to sell T-shirts in order to survive, and we therefore sing songs at the cricket and that kind of thing. They don't quite get it. So I was in the Caribbean on the most recent tour, and a couple of young lads our age came up to me and started hurling abuse, similar kind of stuff. But ultimately, I just took a step back and was like, you know what, I'm being paid to be in St. Lucia and watch cricket. You guys have paid thousands of pounds. I think I'm the one winning here. Do you know what I mean? So I think those are the two. I mean, in terms of Cricket District, occasionally I see comments, but I guess what's nice is it's people. Not everyone is aware that it's a person. People still think it's a big, it's a big business, and no one really reads the comments. So I guess they just feel entitled to drop stuff in there. So yeah, I've been lucky. I haven't really encountered that much negativity. I know YouTube creators often get negativity in the comments, and I'm sure that's pretty hard to deal with, but most people seem to cruise past it and try and get through it. So yeah, my advice would be try to ignore it, and ultimately I tend to feel sorry for people who've got the time to leave negative comments on social media posts. Do you know what I mean? Like if you've got 2 minutes to write a negative, a bit of hate comment on a Facebook page, what are you doing with your life? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's kind of ultimately, if you get yourself into the mindset where you're like, actually, mate, I feel a bit sorry for you. You're leaving a comment. You're leaving, what else have you got better to do with your day? Then that kind of, you instantly rise above anything like that. So that's what I would say is the best way to do it.
I think that's a really good bit of advice. I mean, I said it on my first podcast as well, pretty similar to that. I said, one, ignore it. Said something like, two, as you said, you do feel a bit, not sympathy, because obviously they've been not being very nice towards you, but you do kind of feel like you should be doing something more productive with your life. And then the third one that I said personally, which I think was actually quite good advice for any young creators out there as well, is you don't actually do it for those people in the first place. So when you're creating your cricket content, you're either doing it for yourself because it's stuff that you want to put out, such as your videos, Toby, and you do it for the people who actually enjoy the content, don't you? You do it for the people who follow it, like it, comment. You do it for the people who are actually invested in it instead. So yeah, I'd say some more.
That's a very good way of doing it. And also, like you put yourself on camera a lot, and that's pretty daunting to do when you first do it, isn't it?
Yes.
Very, and particularly as your following builds, the more people are seeing you for the first time, the more likely you are to get someone to say something negative. So it's just about being able to brush it off and know that the majority of people are really enjoying your content and like interacting with it, and it's a very small minority.
Yeah, funny story about that actually. First time I was on camera, I actually wore a pair of cricket glasses because I was so nervous. Yeah, have you not seen? Well, I'm guessing not many people have seen it, and I hope they don't after listening to the podcast. But I actually wore a pair of cricket glasses because I used to be extremely shy actually before the Cricket Connoisseur, like very shy. Wouldn't take photos of ground, stuff like that. I mean, I'm just kind of a bit of an introvert really. And then ever since creating this, yeah, as you said, I'm on camera almost every day, either doing live streams, doing podcasts like this, doing the TCC cricket trivia. Has been strange at times. And as you said, especially when you first do it, that's for anyone who's creating stuff. It is really weird because you have to almost create a conversation with someone who isn't there. Yeah, it's not a nice experience at the start, but it does get better with more experience, definitely.
That's good advice. the start, and it gets easier, without a doubt. It gets easier. You know, and a lot of the best creators out there, a lot of the best film directors, actors are actually quite shy people. But once you put yourself out there, it's great to start that journey. All you've got to do is begin, really.
Yeah, 100%. Again, great advice. So, Toby, let's move on, well, from the world of social media now. Okay, let's get into something which I wanted to discuss for a while on the podcast, actually, and that's the future of England cricket. In a positive way, actually. I think we've got some great young players coming through. So my question to you, Toby, is who in the current England squad, can be red ball, white ball, any of the formats, do you think could go on to be the next great England player? I don't know, like a Peterson, a Cook, an Anderson abroad, for example. Who do you think could go on and step it up to the next level?
Pope. Pope is already world class. He's just such a gun. He's such a gun. Ridiculously talented, extremely confident, can play all around the park, compact technically, can take a bowling attack apart. Like he took Rabada. I watched him live take Rabada completely apart at where was that? Port Elizabeth, I think. Just like reverse ramped him 90 miles an hour. Pope's incredibly talented. I think I'm probably biased as a Kent fan, but I think Crawley looks good and is wise beyond his years. Like he's 20, 21, and is already very, very self-assured. And I watched him around the group, and he's, you know, it's not easy entering a squad that has Broad and Anderson and, you know, some guys who have been around for a while. And Crawley looks like he's got what it takes. It's just tough being an opener, particularly when you know, he's probably dodged a bullet by not having to open against Pakistan or West Indies this summer with a swinging ball. I'm sure he could play very well in India when we go there. Who else? I love watching Bess bowl. I think Bess has got great energy, great character. He could be the next Graham Swan, perhaps. He's really good to watch. I'd love to see Moeen back in the team. I just think he's a fantastic cricketer. I mean, the white ball stuff is just phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. I did a bit of work for Team Abu Dhabi, and I don't know if you've seen the video, but I put a GoPro in the net.
I have. I've watched that, yeah, on the YouTube channel.
Yeah, and it was 30 seconds of Moeen, just glorious cover drives and everything. And I was like, I just want to see more of that. I want to see him in an England shirt doing that at Test level. Any other youngsters? I'm unsure about where Sam Curran's going to fit in over the next few years, because he's so talented. But I worry that he might be overstretched with various things. He's still so young, and you know, playing in the IPL and things, and then playing across all three formats for England. It'll be interesting to see how they manage him. Yeah. What about you? Who do you think's the next big thing?
Well, I mean, I just know I'm going to get comments saying bias, but Dom Sibley. Obviously watched him past couple of seasons at Warwickshire. He's been absolutely magnificent. I mean, 1,324 runs last season in the Division 1 County Championship, the only player to get over 1,000 runs. That knock at Cape Town as well. I mean, this is my personal opinion on that. I think that did change the series almost, 1-3-3 not out. I mean, it just gave England the impetus, and then we obviously went on to win in incredible circumstances with Ben Stokes' bowling spell. That great catch, that was Crawley, wasn't it? The one-hander. He patted up in the air. Yeah, what a catch that was. So I think he could go on. As you mentioned, Sam Curran. Now, Toby, you can disagree with me on this, but for me, I'd like to see him take the red ball path. I don't really want to see him in white ball cricket. Okay, he's been brilliant in red ball. I remember watching him 2018 at Edgbaston, kind of saved our neck with his, 50 odd runs against India. Got great ability to swing the ball both ways. He's just a really, really good player. But what do you think? Do you think he should be in our ODI and T20 squad, or do you just think he should be a test player only?
That's a really good question. I think our white ball squads are so strong. You know, we're so fortunate to be packed with talent, many all-rounders, great fast bowlers, incredibly powerful batsmen. Perhaps he's not needed in the white ball stuff, and he could focus on the red ball. He's definitely good enough to be a test player, to be a consistent test player. So, yeah, I agree with you on that. I think he should probably prioritise that. But whether he wants to is a different subject. He's a very good limited overs player. He's got an IPL hat trick, hasn't he, in the bag as well? So
yes, he does.
He's a very talented player. And if if he's fit enough, why not play all every format. But yeah, I don't think it's necessary at the moment, considering the strength of our white ball squads.
Yeah, exactly. I'd agree with. Well, of course, I agree with that. I mentioned the point in the first place, but yeah, I think that's quite a good sum up of Sam Kerr in the play. But as you said, it does depend on what he wants. I mean, if he's in the IPL and needs to be playing that T20 cricket constantly, well, he might want to force his way into the T20 side. Almost similar to that, obviously this time with the bat though. We've been mentioning Crawley and Sibley. Who do you think should be England's openers in? I'll give you the first conditions at the start. So in England, Australia, New Zealand, etc., etc. And then the second one in the subcontinent, because I have heard Keaton Jennings' name be thrown around here because of his ability to play spin. Who do you think should be England's openers in those conditions?
I mean, I'd love for us just to have the same openers everywhere we go. Do you know what I mean? I'd just love for us to be able to have that. I think you've got to stick with. So Burns, obviously, I guess he's recovering from his injury now. I don't know if he's recovered yet, but by the time we start playing cricket again, hopefully he's ready to go. So Burns and Sibley, the two best openers we've got. Do I see Keaton Jennings coming back in the subcontinent? Well, they were going to take. He was in the squad for Sri Lanka, wasn't he? They were going to take him, and they were probably going to play him, based on the fact that he got a great century and goal. He's a very good short leg fielder as well. I don't know if that comes into things. So yeah, I mean, I'd be happy to see. I mean, I don't know whether you drop. It's quite tough if, let's say, Burns or Sibley has an incredible summer and then doesn't get a chance to open in India. That could be pretty rough. So my prediction is that we'll have Burns and Sibley for the foreseeable, for the next 18 months at least, just for a bit of stability in there. But then who's to say it doesn't all change the next tour? It just becomes, it seems pretty fickle, the selection, particularly for openers. It's just brutal, absolutely brutal. You don't score for a couple of tests and people are talking about it being the end of your career. Yeah. I mean, and then you look at Joe Denley. Joe Denley's just proved that if you stick with a player, give them a few opportunities, they can become a real solid figure in your lineup. First few test matches, people were talking, why the hell have we picked Denley? And he's, obviously he hasn't gone big yet, but he's been scoring consistent runs and looks like he's not out of place in the test arena.
Well, yeah. I mean, I felt really bad for Denley, to be honest, at the Oval when he got the 94. I mean, he was 6 runs away from, a well-deserved century, really. I mean, yeah, I'd agree with you. I think that's a very good, again, a summary of the opening batsman scenario. But as you said, we do have the opening batsman carousel. I mean, I was reading the other day, since Strauss, we've had double digits openers since he's retired. That is just, it's mental. And you look at the likes of Carberry, Stoneman, Ali opened for a bit, didn't he? Nick Compton opened, Sibley, Crawley, Burns.
It's a great quiz question. You should do it on your trivia. Can you name everyone who's opened the batting for England since Strauss? I think it's more than 12. I think it's now like 15.
That's ridiculous. Yeah, I mean, it's not only that, it's an area you need stability as well, isn't it? The opening batsman. It's where it's the foundation of the innings. Look at Alistair Cook, for example. Yeah. We'll have to talk about that another day. Moving on from maybe the future now, Toby. This is a question that I get asked on pretty much every single live stream, and I'll be really interested to know your thoughts on this. What do you think of Joe Root's captaincy, and how long do you think he'll be England captain for?
I think he'll be England captain until he retires. I think in general he's actually very popular with the players, with the staff, and with the media. He's incredibly popular. I can't see him going anytime soon. His target is to win the Ashes Down Under. If we can figure out a way to get Steve Smith out, then we might stand a chance, because he's literally the only thing that's stopping us from winning down there. To be honest, well, him in a Premier fast bowler we've now got in Jofra, as long as he's not injured. So yeah, I mean, I can't see Root going for a long time unless there's a terrible series loss. to be fair, 5-0 loss in Australia down under might do it. But apart from that, I think he's pretty safe.
Fingers crossed that doesn't happen again. Because we could do without that. That was absolutely horrendous, especially 2013-14. My God. The only thing that I will say about Root, and I mentioned this. When did I mention this? I think it was in the Ashes, actually. I mentioned his timidness in captaincy in terms of Steve Smith and Kane Williamson. When you have a look of the approach of Roots to those two players, the Premier players per se, compared to their approach to him, they're a lot more aggressive, they're a lot more proactive. And that's the only thing that I think he could work on. I think England gave those players a bit too much room, and they just kind of had the attitude, oh, they're going to score runs anyway, we might as well just stand back from them. Whereas you look at New Zealand, look at Neil Wagner, for example, came in, really aggressive fields, really aggressive play style. They put the leg slip in, which could be a way of getting Steve Smith out. We saw that at the Oval as well, didn't we? Was it Broad who got him out leg slip?
So, yeah.
It was either Broad
finally worked it out. Test, yeah.
Yeah,
I love watching Mike. Yeah, and it's tenacity and a bit of aggression. Yeah, I mean, you look at Kohli on the pitch. He might take it a bit far sometimes, but he's right in your face. Doesn't matter who you are. You know, whether you're Steve Smith or whether you're a village cricketer, he'll get right up in your face and make sure that your team's on top. Williamson is very self-assured, very confident, aggressive fields. He's not an aggressive bloke himself, but he's, aggressive field settings. And Smith is Smith. Smith is world class, and he's always on top of you. I do get the point that Root is sometimes a bit timid and a bit, oh no, he is going to score a run, so let's just let him score runs and get the batsman out the other end. I do get that for sure.
Yeah, the only thing I will say, he did begin to improve in South Africa. I noticed that after that second test, far more aggressive, especially to de Kock. And we all know de Kock can be a very, very destructive player. He's a wonderful batsman, got a great future ahead of him. We seemed as though we're actually getting in his face, which I quite liked actually. So yeah, I thought he definitely improved. It was good to finally win a series. I don't think we won a single Test series in 2019, did we? If I'm not mistaken. Did we? Lost to West Indies. Yeah. Ireland doesn't count because it's a one-off. Ashes drawn.
I had a pretty shocking record as Barmy Army social media guy, starting with the Ashes 17-18. I think I saw us win 2 tests for like 2 years away from home. South Africa improved my ratio a bit.
Well, hopefully we'll see some more, won't we, when cricket gets back? I mean, I definitely think we've got a very bright future with the Test team, but I think we're almost a team in transition, aren't we, really? I mean, we've got, obviously, the old guard, the likes of Roots, Stokes, Broad. And then, as you said, we've got the young guys. Ollie Pope's a wonderful young player. Sibley's a wonderful young player, Curran. And the future's looking bright. So, I mean, just to wrap up this podcast now, Toby, I think you've been an absolutely magnificent guest. And if you do want to come on again, please feel free to do so. What do you think about the future with white ball cricket? Because we have got the next World Cup. That's going to be in India. Obviously, conditions are going to be a lot tougher. India have got home advantage. They've got some great young players coming through as well. You look at the likes of Navdeep Saini, Rahul Chahar, great young leg spinner, Deepak Chahar. I mean, their bowling attack is going to be absolutely stacked. And we're not even talking about Bumrah in that. So what do you think England have to do right from this moment, really, to kind of build up for South Africa, for India, to give us a chance of winning that tournament?
Good question, because you'd back us if it was played right now to go and win it again. But I have no idea what kind of conversations they'll be having in terms of management. I know Morgan obviously wants to captain and wants to be there and win it again. And I think if you look at the age of our players, they'll still, I think you'll have quite a similar squad to the one that played in the most recent World Cup. And I think if you add into that a couple of youngsters coming through, I mean, I don't know. That's actually quite interesting. What would your 11 be for the next World Cup? I think we've got a very strong chance of winning it. Very good, strong chance. And actually winning the final this time would be great as well. Yeah, I think we've got a strong chance, but I don't know which players from the most recent World Cup won't play in the next one. It'll be interesting to see, because you'd think the majority of them would be wanting to play in it and get picked. I don't know what the bowling attack will look like, but you think Jofra. I don't think Woody would. I don't know if Woody's body is going to last. Who else would you have? Moeen in the team, possibly. Yeah. Who would you pick? Who would you pick in the next World Cup?
It's an interesting one. Definitely Archer. Archer's going to be centre, spearheaded the attack. The question for me actually isn't with the seamers, it's more with the spinners. I mean, as you mentioned, Ali, we've got Adil Rashid as well. I mean, by the time he gets on, he'll be, mid to late 30s? We have got Matt Parkinson coming through. He's a wonderful young white ball player. Watched him for Lancashire multiple times last season. So I think it's going to be an interesting toss-up between those two. If Moeen Ali is in form, definitely pick him. Have him and Rashid if we can, because those two together, brilliant. The spin twins in India, I think that'd be quite a good combination. In terms of the seamers, the Warwickshire fan inside me wants Chris Wokes to be there. He had a wonderful World Cup, just kept on picking up wickets consistently. I mean, the David Warner wicket Edgbaston, that can be topped. In terms of the other seamer, though, I think that's going to be interesting as well, because we have Saqib Mahmood coming through. We've got Pat Brown from Worcestershire. Just trying to think, in India, they're going to be flat tracks. They are going to be flat.
Banton will probably play.
Yeah, he won't bowl though. That's the only thing about Banton. But
unless he starts bowling 90-mile-an-hour rockets over the next couple of years. Yeah, I'm not sure that will happen.
If he does, that'd be an incredible combination, wouldn't it? Kevin Peterson batting and like Sherbak Tar, Brett Leaf style pace. Fingers crossed, Tom. Come on, let's get it going. But who would I probably choose? I think I'd probably go Mahmood.
Yeah.
I think I'd probably choose Mahmood. He's a very wily and clever bowler. He's been brilliant for Lancashire, got some great change-up of pace. So mine would be Mahmood, Archer, Wokes. Obviously Stokes is going to be in there as well. Ali and Rashid. I think that'd be my bowling attack. What about you, Toby?
Yeah, probably the same. Probably the same, to be honest. It'd be great to see more Saqib Mahmood. He's rapid, really good bowler. Pat Brown, very clever, very, very clever bowler. So, yeah, it's cool. It's interesting. We'll win it again for sure.
Fingers crossed. I mean, and as you said, win. None of this super overs, none of this boundary counts. I mean,
my heart won't be able to deal with it. Couldn't deal with another super over.
No, I never want to see another one in my life. I mean, it's the fact that we won that by super over, and then we go to New Zealand and the T20 last match, the decider gets super over again. Hopefully, we don't play the Black Caps. I mean, do without the stress. But yeah, I think that's a really nice place to wrap up, really, Toby. If you want to just promote your social media, please feel free to do so now. I'll leave the links to those down below. So, Toby, fire away. Tell the people what you want them to hear.
Oh, no problem. If people enjoy Cricket District, then keep liking, keep sharing the stuff. A few more videos going out on YouTube over the next couple of weeks. So yeah, and if you've got any fun videos of you playing in the nets in your backyard or wherever it is, just send them through to us and we'll make sure you get featured. So yeah, we're just building a platform. People to share their cricket content, whether it's from test match level or village cricket. We don't mind. Just want to grow a nice community of cricket fans who love the game and play it in the right spirit. And share fun content. So yeah, at Cricket District on all platforms. Yeah, keep liking, keep sharing, and keep up the good work yourself, mate.
Well, definitely. I mean, I can't promote enough, really. I mean, I'll definitely be leaving the links down below. Do go and check it out. Great content. I like all of the posts unless it's regarding a certain 2019 World Cup documentary that was never released. But other than that, yes, completely love Cricket District. Do go and follow them, guys. Also, if you want to go and follow my social media, the link's down below in the description. But that pretty much wraps it up for TCC Talks episode 3. Thank you for listening. And as always, guys, enjoy the rest of your day.